This 2 cents camp segment from all government house, the initiative of the Belize House of Culture and Downtown Rejuvenation Project. Project partners the National Institute of Culture and History, the Belize City Council, and the international funding agency Taiwan International Cooperation Development Fund. 2 cents question a day. What the one story you hear about the old governor house, now the House of Culture?
And that in 1981, it was the House of Culture.
Thanks, sir. 2 cents. 2 cents question a day, my sister. What the one story you hear about old governor house, now House of Culture?
I know when I made grow up, and I born way back yonder in, and I want to tell you no, but way back when I was about 7 or 8, when we march for 10th of September, when we pass here, we have to march and salute and walk on.
Thanks, sir. 2 cents. 2 cents question then, brother. What the one story you hear about the old governor house, now the House of Culture?
Well, the house was built in 1814, and between 1814 and 1981, this is where all the British governors used to be. And since 1981, then we had all the Belizean, Dame Milita and Sir Calvin Young.
Thanks, sir. 2 cents. 2 cents question then, brother. You have any memories of old governor house, now House of Culture?
All I can remember when I was young is that Belizeans were forbidden from going into the governor house before it was open.
Thanks, sir. 2 cents. 2 cents question, dear my sister. You have any memories of old governor house, now House of Culture?
Yeah, the government house. Underneath, they used to have these shackles all the way in the bottom. I remember because I was short enough that I would walk under and I would see these shackles that were attached to the cement. And someone once told me that's where they sometimes put the slaves. I don't know if that was true, but I remember that.
Thanks, sir. 2 cents. 2 cents question there, brother. You have any memories of old governor house, now House of Culture?
As a little boy, right, going to school, Wesley School, we used to march every 10th of September, right? And I remember a story that my grandmother told me, right? My grandmother told me that she used to be a maid at the government house, at the House of Culture now. And she gave me a story that one morning we had a storm and she was supposed to reach at work about 6 in the morning. Well, the storm created a flood also, and she was late for something like 5 or 10 minutes late that morning for work. And the supervisor called her in and tell her that you are late. She said, I know, but we had a storm. He said, well, you know the penalty of being late. You can either get punishment by suspension or go to jail. So my grandmother got real upset about that because she was a very efficient worker. She makes sure that she's at work on time and everything set on time. And when she was telling me, I said, but grandma, who said that? He said it was the supervisor. So I said, how the supervisor could tell you this? I was about 5, 6 years old when I was questioning her about this. Because of the fact that when we used to march September, I used to be stubborn marching in the gate because we used to go Albert Street to Regent Street. And the governor stood on his veranda and we walked through the first gate and we have to go eyes right looking at him and we pass through the other gate, the exit gate. So I said, Grandma, you tell me this now? I said, and that make I feel funny. I said, because they shouldn't treat you like this. So, excuse me. So my grandma said like this, he said, you know something? He said, we have to listen to our employers. So I said, who is our employers? He said, you got to listen to the governor. The governor, whatever he says, we all have to do. He said, let me tell you something. He said, you know they used to put slave downstairs the government house who do not do what they needed to do. I said, well, no, this really riled me up. I said, Grandma, why they do that? He said, let me tell you something. We are slaves. I didn't know what that word mean at that time. I said, Grandma, what means slave? Slave to who? He said, to the governor. I said, oh. I said, that's why they wanted to put you in jail, huh? She said, yes. She said, you have to obey the superior. Anyway, I said, Grandma, I don't know if I could be able to do that. From that day, she told me that story. When I march on 10th of September, the entrance gate, I march past, and I get my class at the exit gate. You know what they did with me? Put me on the bench to stand up with no refreshment. And from that day, something in my stomach, you know, that when you mention slave, I feel, you know, some kind of feeling come with me that sometimes I have to resist anything that I feel like connected to that. So that's my story about the House of Culture, which the government house, which is the House of Culture now.
Thanks for your 2 cents.